Good morning, gentlemen. JK, your brother in this struggle here. Welcome to another episode of Porn Reboot Coach in the Porsche. Today we're going to talk about what should you be investing in, actually. Guys, I feel like I've been living in the gym. My life is just this, just so you guys know, a little bit of context, okay, real quick before I get into the video. December at Elevated Recovery is when our year starts. I shot a live video on this last week, so check it out in the live section of this channel. So it feels like a January to me. What used to be January is in my less successful days. So it feels as if my life has just been coaching. I haven't even had time to sit down and do a proper video. I'm just in the car, sitting in front of clients, sitting in front of my team, and just doing a lot of research. It's been intense, but it's been good. I'm not even sure how to segue that into today's topic, so I'll just start the topic, which is investing and what you should be investing in. This is a financial thing. We have inside the implementation program, we have something called the Financial Reboot program. And what we do is you work on every area of your reboot, what we call your reboot capital, right? Financial, spiritual, social, emotional, and so on. In the financial aspect, I get a lot of brothers asking me, what should I invest in? Like, they want to talk about investments and whether they should invest in gold or stock or real estate. And, you know, when you're online on social media, you run into all sorts of people selling all sorts of things. And you'll hear people talking about ways that you can get started in real estate or stocks or whatever by, investing your last dime in their program that'll teach you how to do this and that. Then they'll bring up case studies of people who have, done the same thing. They invested their last $97 or their last $10,000 and how they became insanely wealthy from that, or how something amazing happened. And while this is sometimes the case, and I've done something similar, albeit not with the financial aspect of my life, it's not the rule. Let me tell you something about people who, you hear these success stories and case studies where people invested a certain amount and got a huge return. Those people were living life in what I call panic mode. And while it might sound like a dangerous thing and a dangerous mode to be in when you have finances, when you have money in hand, especially not much of it, how you view this panic mode aspect of your life really makes all the difference. Panic mode is basically when you're pushed against a wall, right? You have nothing left. It is do or die. It almost feels as if any move you make is based on luck. A lot of people succumb to this. A lot of people will relapse and retreat when they find themselves in panic mode. Like, man, I can't pay the rent. Man, my business is facing bankruptcy. Man, I just received something from the IRS that could wipe me out. Man, I'm being investigated for this. Man, I did something with this girl and she said it turned out the other way. Now I'm facing a case. I am facing a serious health crisis or potential health crises. You name it. But you guys have been in that panic mode, right? I'm about to lose my job and so on and so forth. When you freak out in panic mode, when you literally panic, you are going to lose your shit. The thing to understand is that when you are in panic mode, that is the time that your unconscious mind is going to start searching for resources. That is the place where massive growth happens. That's the place your war stories come from, when you are backed against the wall. This is your hero journey, right? Against all the odds. You sure love watching the movies about the heroes, don't you? But why don't you want to be a hero in your own life? You're cheering and you feel this feeling, right, of triumph when a fictional person overcomes things despite the odds. But when you are faced with that panic mode in your life, in the simplest of things, not even a life or death situation, you run to pornography, you fucking fold like a cheap suit. Panic mode is always an opportunity. What does it have to do with the guys who invested their last dime? Well, they were in panic mode, but they understood that when they were in panic mode and they invested something, they were going to squeeze out every single thing that they could from that. They were not going to doubt themselves. They would use their fear as a fuel. So they would not miss any of the training. They would do everything that that person said. And they would even 10x it. That person said, just do this, it's enough. They're like, fuck no, dude. You could do that. I'm not doing that. This is my last dime. I'm going to follow everything you say to the T and go beyond that. And that is why they come out as the success stories. But the person who is selling that thing to you will not tell you the mental state that that person was in. That there are very few people that do that, right? Also, that often happens only when you're not investing in stocks or things that you don't have expertise in. You don't do that. That's stupid. It's stupid to invest in something that you haven't learned enough about. You always invest in you, in yourself. You are the greatest assets, all right? You are the greatest asset. When people say, this cancel culture thing, oh, this person is canceled. You can't really cancel somebody. You can have some sort of impact on their business or their image, but the person is still there, right? Unless you wipe the person's physical existence off the face of the planet, you cannot cancel a person. That person can always rise again. Fuck, they can rise and they can just chill for a month and they'll be back in full force. Some people can just go against the whole cancel thing with pure force of personality. But why? That's because that individual understands that they are the greatest asset. Your mental health, your resilience, right? Your emotional control, your knowledge, your know-how, your work ethic, your ability to push, the power of your focus, your self-belief. This is the shit, right? Nothing else. Not your money in the bank. It is amazing leverage. Don't get me wrong. Money is leverage. Don't get me wrong. Having a supportive network is a powerful form of leverage beyond money, right? There's so many things you could invest in. But there's one thing all of these things you would invest in have in common, and that is you. You are the one. You are the controller. When your mind is not right, when your emotions are not right, when your relationships are not right, when your spiritual life is not right, when your health is not right, none of the things you've invested in really matter. Your wealth, it doesn't matter, right? The stocks, bonds, gold, none of that shit matters. We have clients who are literally, their businesses are bleeding because they're not in control of their sexual behavior. And their compulsive sexual behavior is a symptom of some emotional issue that they do not want to address, or some health issue. Let me explain one small thing, and I'm going off tangent, but whatever. If there is an emotional issue that you are medicating with pornography, and you choose in your 30s, your late 20s, to sweep it under the rug and willpower, self-improvement, atomic fucking habits your way through this shit, Jesus your way through it, motherfucker, the time will come when you will have to pay the piper. There's only so much you can repress, and you better pray and hope that it is not when you have worked so hard and you have built up so much that emotional issue doesn't come up to sabotage every fucking thing. Don't get me wrong, it is unpredictable what life can throw at you. But what is very predictable if you know what the fuck your problem is and you choose to run away from it. Unless you're okay with that. There are actually men that I respect who say, I choose not to work on this issue. And I am fully willing to deal with the consequences later. I have respect for that man who really means it. He has a legitimate reason for doing that. And there are legitimate reasons. I won't mention them here because I don't want to give anyone an excuse. But the point of this entire video is, number one, invest in yourself. Investing in yourself allows you to comfortably navigate panic mode. It gives you the confidence, the self-belief that is necessary to go through when your back is against the wall. It shows you how to harness fear. You know that you have skills, right? You know that you have certain abilities. It can even get a little bit addicting, to be honest. I must admit, I might have a compulsive behavior with living in panic mode, right? Maybe it comes from years of selling door to door. Every morning that we left our home, our manager, right, in my internship days, and this sounds like some form of abuse today, but God, did I love it. We had to leave our little trailer. It wasn't a fucking home. We paid $250 a month, 3 of us, living on the side of the highway off Gaffney, South Carolina. I don't remember, some small county. Our manager would wake us up in the morning, and we would get pumped up, take our cold showers, cut ourselves up on the rusted metal bathtub, get in my little, what was it, 1996 Geo Metro, a little tiny car. I could even lift it up if I tried hard enough. And he would lock the trailer. And we would have to go out and we would have to sell door to door. We would have no money on us, just the gas in our car and a bunch of Bibles and encyclopedias in the trunk. If we did not sell, we did not eat. Rent was not paid. Nothing was done. I did that for 11 years. And I taught hundreds of people to do the same. I sent them out. I locked the apartment, I locked the trailer, and I was out too. Year after year after year. One of the best things that ever happened to me, brothers. If you can find a way to do so. Some of you already have the opportunity. Some of your lives are already like that. Some of you are like, fuck yeah, JK. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, if I don't do some shit today, I'm fucked. Do it. But invest in yourself. Invest in skills. Invest in things that are going to improve your emotional health. Invest in things that are going to improve your mental resiliency. Invest in those things that will give you the capacity to perform under pressure. If you need to invest in a therapist because you have emotional health, mental health issues that are holding you back in anything, like they're getting in the way, please, my brother, please do so. Right? That's what you should spend your money on. Not keep working your job. Don't spend it on some fucking, like course on how to make money, on how to start an agency, on how to start a side hustle, right? I know we live in the time of, where entrepreneurship and side hustles are, the fad these days, but not everybody's cut out for it. I'll tell you that, right? Not everybody's cut out for it. There's just, if you are addicted to information, you are not cut out for it because you'll be too distracted. If you do not know how to sit your ass down and work for 14 hours, with breaks, of course, and self-care and so on, you're probably not cut out for it. I know it sounds like, and I'm speaking to a very specific audience. I'm speaking to the brothers who are struggling with an out-of-control behavior. You are not cut out for it until you have learned the basics that are going to allow you to thrive in panic mode. All right? So I hope you found that helpful. I hope you found the concept of panic mode helpful. Invest in yourself first, not in stocks and all these other things. Get the help you need. And that's it. I'm actually getting a little faint now. That workout was something. I don't want to pass out in my car. I'm JK. I'm going to get my post-workout meal in. I'm JK, your brother in the struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I love and appreciate you guys. I'll speak to you later on in the week.